Welcome back to CryptosRUs. I am George. We're all George. So good morning. Welcome to another market open stream. Opening bell. And today, of course, I want to talk about Bitcoin, but also this new payment service called FedNow. And guess who's powering it? Big news. Big news indeed. So let's talk about all these things and what's going on with US markets and crypto markets overall. Smash the like, subscribe to the channel. Make sure you hit that notification bell to get notified of all my streams. Follow me on social media. Check out CryptosRUs.com and make sure you follow all my other channels as well. Good morning, guys. I don't know why I did that twice, but welcome. Today's looking like it's going to be a good day. So far, I don't know if this refreshed, but yep, Dow is up about 85, NASDAQ up about 71. So opening green, that's good. Bitcoin is also coming up a little bit, 20,400. So overall, we're moving in the right direction. The overall crypto market cap went up pretty significantly, 3%, closing in at 1 trillion once again. That's what we want to see. Now, there's several big news today. Let's start with economic stuff. Home sales or home prices did come down, but it's important to remember that it's still way up versus just even a year ago. So even though, again, we've been hearing a lot about all these numbers, all the economic data, that's showing things are pulling back and demand is going down, right? That's true. That's what we want. Well, that's what the Fed wants. But overall, let's keep in mind that inflation and supply chain constraints have still pushed things up way higher than even a year ago or 2 years ago especially, right? So this basically shows, demand is coming down, but on average, a home price is still 18% higher than last year. And if you're living in one of these three cities, Tampa, Miami, or Dallas, you're seeing increases of 35%, 33%, and 28%. This is year to year. Imagine, well, if you're a buyer, then you would have made a ton. Had you bought a home in Tampa, Miami, or Dallas, in the right areas, you would be up 30-something%. That's crazy. That's crazy. Anyways, so overall, shows that supply constraints, consumer demand, inflation, you add all these things together, well, it's the reason why we're seeing this, and the Fed is trying to do something about it, right? So, I mentioned earlier this week, maybe this weekend, about all this economic data that's coming out this week, right? And the best case scenario is these numbers come in line or below expectations, right? Just a little bit, not horrible numbers, but below expectations, which is what we're starting to see, which is good. Because if these numbers are showing that numbers are still rising, well, then that means that Powell has to be very, very hawkish, right? But the fact that they're starting to come down, that's what we want to see. But we don't want to see a complete collapse either, right? So far, so good, I guess. Elon says he is no way buying Twitter now because the whistleblower, the head of security or former head of security of Twitter came out and said that they don't care about privacy, security, content moderation, and all this stuff, saying all this bad stuff about Twitter. So Elon is like, for sure, I'm not going to be buying Twitter anymore. So but even though that's the case, Twitter is still suing Elon, and there's still going to be a rough battle ahead. What else is there? AMD and NVIDIA rumored to be significantly cutting their GPU prices not due to demand, but due to surplus. They have way too much on hand. And I've said that already. I told you guys, sometimes you just got to use common sense. We know, those of us in the crypto space, we know Ethereum is moving to proof of stake. So what are the miners going to be doing, right? They're not going to be buying GPUs by the boatload like before. They're not going to be paying $2,000 a card anymore, right? And are there really that many gamers that need 8 GPUs or 30 GPUs or like 100 GPUs, right? Like the miners do? I know when I was mining, back in the day, I had 100 plus GPUs running in my basement. So any serious miner, they're not just having one. Gamers may have one or two, but miners are the ones that's buying everything. And now miners are not buying anything. And not only that, they're going to be dumping on the market. And pretty soon, AMD and NVIDIA is going to be dumping on the market too, because they have produced way too many. So if you're a gamer, I think this is good, because you're going to be able to buy all these high-end graphical cards for pennies on the dollar. But if you're a miner, don't know. There's still a lot of speculation of where the miners will go. Will they simply cease to stop mining, or will they go to Ethereum Classic? You know, some of the smaller projects, maybe Ergo, maybe Flux, you know, who knows, right? But yeah, I would not be a shareholder of NVIDIA or AMD right now. They are going to have some bad quarters coming up, that's for sure. All right, what else is there? Well, let's talk about this. Can't be ignored. There is going to be a new instant settlement service, a new payment service from the Federal Reserve that is set to come out next year, July 2023, called FedNow. I'm not so sure about this name, FedNow. It's like, does anyone really want the Federal Reserve right now, right? Do you really want the Fed on your doorstep right now? You know, FedNow... Just, it's like, why not FedPay, you know, or Pay Now? You know, Pay Now would be good. You know, if you think about Pay Now, would be an awesome name. Why FedNow? Anyways, this will launch, but the beta is actually launching this coming month in September. And this is a new service so that merchants and users can pay for things, and this will settle immediately. This was using a new payment rail that does not take like 2 to 3 days to settle. Basically, it's going to be instant, right? So who does it compete with? Well, it competes with, the likes of Strike app, which is using Bitcoin Lightning Network, competing with some of the other traditional, I guess, financial apps that may be involved with crypto, right? But yeah, this is coming. Right, and one wonders whether or not the Federal Reserve is kind of missing a step, because they're not coming out with their own CBDC yet. There's been rumors, and the person behind FedNow, which is FOMC governor, they want CBDC to come out, because other countries already have their own and developing their own. There's many advantages to it, but this is kind of like the first step. And then maybe afterwards, they'll layer in a CBDC on top of it. But here's the interesting thing. Who is this utilizing? What project do we know is going to be powering the back end of FedNow? Boom. When I say boom, you guys know what I'm talking about, right? Ripple on top. So it does seem like FedNow will be utilizing the Ripple network to be settling the transactions instantly, because Ripple's network or XRP ledger is pretty darn fast. Now, what this doesn't mean is that the government has to buy XRP to power this. No, because Ripple has a lot of services that require no purchase of XRP. You could utilize their ledger and basically their, consensus of whether or not a payment has gone through without using XRP. So before all the XRP bag holders say, yes, we're going back to $3.77, hold your horses. This does not mean that the Fed will be buying billions and billions of dollars of XRP to make this happen. No, they don't need to make it happen. But it's good that if this is true, if this is going to be on top of Ripple or XRP ledger, it's a win. It's definitely a win, right? But it's interesting that they would choose Ripple when Ripple is being sued by the SEC, right? So there's definitely no talks between agencies. You would figure the Fed or Federal Reserve or Jerome Powell or whoever will be talking to Gary Gensler and saying, well, we're going to be using their network, so are they really a security or not, right? So, you would figure they would be talking, but it seems like they're not. So I don't know. All right. What else is there? Well, speaking of Gary Gensler, Ripple's general counsel said that, I mean, of course he has to say this. He's defending Ripple, but he's basically saying that Gary Gensler is too power hungry, ignoring everyone else, and basically just setting its own rules, uncontrolled. So it's kind of like that. He made this analogy with cars. I guess it makes sense. Where's this analogy? Ripple Counsel mentioned that the SEC chair asserts that whether a car runs on electricity or gas, it still needs a seatbelt. And the SEC is demanding that a seatbelt is in both, right? So basically, I think what he's trying to say is SEC thinks that they have the ability to demand regulations, and it doesn't matter if it's Bitcoin, if it's crypto, if it's stable coins, if it's anything that has to do with blockchain, I don't know, tokens, that they get to demand a seatbelt to be put on, something like that. I don't know. All right, you get the point. Moving on, Reddit. Reddit is looking to start a new VC firm, looking to raise $177 million to invest. And guess what? Crypto tokens. Interesting. Not in crypto projects, but in tokens specifically. They kind of want to be like almost like a hedge fund, really. So this is quite interesting. Could be a big thing. What else is there? Animoca Brands, who is absolutely huge into gaming and NFT, they are leading. They're having another funding round. They are just getting huge. They were last evaluated at $2 or $3 billion or something, and now they're going to be evaluated even more. So there are definitely a lot of companies that's continuing to thrive despite this downfall that we're in, right? And they are the ones that will become powerhouses of the future. So Animoca Brands is looking pretty good. FTX also seemingly looks pretty good because of all the offers they have placed. But SBF did say that he will not be buying Huobi because Huobi's co-founder decided that he wants out and he's looking to sell a significant portion of Huobi to someone else. So it's rumored that it's either SBF or Justin Sun of Tron, and SBF just verified he is out, but we'll see. We'll see if that's true because he's been buying a lot of other projects recently. All right. What else is there today? Well, as for Bitcoin, you have almost 16,000 addresses holding at least 100 Bitcoins. 16,000 sounds a lot, but again, if it's really 16,000 people, which it's not, it's probably more like 5,000 people. But if you think about it, if it's really just 16,000 people, that's so little, especially if you consider the global population at 8+ billion, right? So even though there are whales out there, but still, it's not easy to accumulate massive amount of Bitcoin, right? Just even to accumulate one is hard for many people. And think about accumulating 10, which is virtually impossible for most people. And then think about getting 100, right? But you know what? When things are low, when things are cheap, right? When things are down, that's when you could buy low, right? You buy things on a discount. And we're in one of those situations right now, right? So, but basically, people are still stocking up. The number of addresses keep doing this, right? Not just with ultra whales, but with anything that's 0.1, 1, 10. They're all going up. So there are definitely a lot of people taking advantage right now. Aave is suspending ETH lending before the merge. I think this would be a good idea. Anything that has to deal with ETH should be suspended before the merge. And there's a funny. I have to do it. I didn't want to do it, but I have to show you guys. But speaking of the merge, before the merge, just so you know, all the exchanges, they have to suspend withdrawals and stuff. So you can't be too, there will be, I think some people will be fearful because all of a sudden they can't withdraw and they're like, oh, what's going on and stuff, right? Just keep in mind the whole network, all the wallets, everything has to be upgraded. So there's that. But someone that's very, very excited about the merge is Vitalik. I saw this picture this morning, and I'm not going to comment on it. I'll just let you guys look at it for 10 seconds. So someone's pretty excited about this hard fork, and I'll just leave it at that. Lastly, Avalanche soars, recovers because of, I actually mentioned this yesterday. The lawyer that was accused of helping Avalanche, spread FUD, spread smear campaigns. Supposedly it's not true, right? So Avalanche recover from that, so that's good. And lastly, this is also funny too. Crypto.com accidentally transfers $10.5 million to someone that tried to withdraw $100. Okay? And what's worse is Crypto.com didn't even know about it until 7 months later. Right? But guess what? If you actually get sent $10 million, do not just spend it like these two sisters. Of course, what did they do? They withdrew and they went to buy a mansion like this and they spent the money. But Crypto.com brought them to court, and court rules that the judge ruled that they have to sell their house, they have to sell whatever else they bought, and they have to give it all back to Crypto.com, right? So this happens all the time. You hear about with banks too. Banks accidentally send whatever to some account. Unfortunately, the law states that if someone sends you, if they accidentally send you money that you didn't ask for, even though you have access to it, basically you're going to lose it if they ask for it back. I don't know why that's fair, but I guess it is. So if you're the one that's sending it, I guess it's good for you. There's some protection there. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. But anyways, how do you go for 7 months without knowing that you sent someone $10 million? I guess it happens. Oh, man. We're all looking forward to that hard fork. All right, the market's slightly red now, but, overall, rest of this week could be good. Nothing's holding it back, I don't think. Some more economic data, but no big speeches, no press conferences, no FOMC meeting. So this week could be just a slow recovery week. Let's see what happens. All right, let's do some Q&A. Oh boy, having too much fun with that picture. IKO, welcome, another member of this channel. Thank you for joining. Some people claim that they changed the ledger so it has to use XRP. No, that's not true. Ripple has many services that actually does not require XRP. Let's see. I would run to Mars with that amount of cash. Well, if you bought a mansion, then you would not do that. What else is there? Did CRO send USD or crypto to those ladies? I don't know. Probably. I would say probably a stable coin. I would think so. The company accidentally entered a account number in the payment field instead of 100. I mean, why is it like a human error? It should be all automated. I don't know. That's just strange. Anyways. Another customer for VET, Rover. I covered that last night. Yep, that's pretty good. They're making inroads in the West now, so it's good to see that. Jose's asking, who's your biggest crypto influencer? I am. I don't watch anyone else. I mean, why would I need to? And that's it. Hi from California, Red Robos. Thank you. You are the man. Someone says, I hate the merge. Is going to kill crypto for sure. Most of the miners is what really pushed for crypto. Now the game is going to be empty. I think you're way too salty, man. If you want to go mining, go mine something else. You could go mine Ethereum Classic. You go mine Ergo or Flux, or you go mine Bitcoin. It's not like mining altogether is gone. I think you're probably salty because you're sitting on a boatload of GPUs. Now you're thinking of dumping. Just like AMD and Nvidia, who are both going to be dumping their stockpile in September. So look forward to some cheap GPU prices in September. Bronco Raptor or Lightning? Lightning is I'm about to post my full Lightning review. I've been doing a lot of shorts on the Lightning I have, and those shorts have been doing really well. But I'm gonna do the full review, and to give you like a little hint, the Lightning is the best truck I've ever driven. So that's how good it is, and I've driven a lot of trucks. Lightning is fantastic, but the Bronco Raptor is not. It's a different beast. So I'm going to review the Raptor Bronco in a couple months. But the Lightning is wow. Wow. Yeah, I think a lot of people still don't realize you can mine Cadena, but you can't use script mining or GPU mining with Cadena. It requires its own miner. So I think a lot of people are confused by that. There's different kind of mining. Just like you can't do GPU mining of Bitcoin. You could, but you basically lose money. I mean, there's like Helium also has mining, but that kind of mining requires you to have basically an antenna to power the network. So there's different kind of mining. I have not driven a Hummer, but the Hummer, even though supposedly it's really fast, but it costs so much. I told you guys a story, right? I have a Hummer on order, the new Hummer EV, and I got a call from the GMC dealership, and they're like, "Hey, we're getting first edition in, right? Are you interested? Because we see you're on the waiting list." I'm like, "Sure, I'm interested." And they're like, "Yeah, if you're interested, just so you know, we're selling it for $220,000." I'm like, "What? What is the normal MSRP?" And he refused to answer. He's like, "Well, we're not going by MSRP. We're just going by market value, and we're seeing other ones being sold for over 200,000, so we're selling for 220." I'm like, F you. I'm like, "No, I'm not interested. I'm not gonna be paying 100,000 over MSRP, right?" And, you know, these dealerships keeps playing these kind of stupid games, and they're all going to regret it. They're going to regret it later on when they don't have, you know, they don't have the leverage to overcharge people. You know, everyone they pissed off will not be buying from them. Anyways, what is Cadena missing to break out into the top level ones? A lot more dApps. Way more dApps, and way more wallet support is what they need. They need a lot more wallet support. Yeah, he didn't tell me what MSRP is. He did not want to say, "Oh yeah, we're charging 100K over MSRP." Scotty, hey, appreciate it, man. Do I still remember Gina? Well, in case you guys want to learn more about Ripple, I alone hold the most valuable, most educational video ever produced about Ripple. And you guys are in for a treat because I'll show you that video at the end of the stream. It'll change your mind. It'll blow your mind. What's your honest, educated guess on macro low BTC? I would say 17K. Ford says they're going to stop allowing dealers to rip peeps off. Yeah. The thing is, these dealerships, all they do is sell them as used cars. They'll title real quick, sell as a used car, and then they can charge whatever they want because Ford can't stop that. So that's why, you know, in the future, everything should be a direct model to the consumers, right? Like what Tesla is doing. You make an order, okay, that's the price. There's no haggling, right? And then when it's time to pick up, you go choose the dealership you pick it up from, and that's it. That's how it should be, right? But because of the very complex dealer structure in the U.S., it's so ancient, and they have all the control. The dealer networks have all the control. Actually, not the manufacturers, the dealer networks. That's the strange thing. And that's why it's taking them so long to go to this direct-to-consumer model. Is that Ripple video worth more than XRP? It's worth a lot of XRP, since I'm the only one that has a copy. All right, let's see what went down a little bit. You know, here's an interesting thing. I don't know if you guys been noticing, and this shows you, I think, the mindset of most crypto investors. Right now, what we're witnessing is the dominance of BTC going down, and we continue to see it go down. It is now at 39.3%. And ETH is coming back up, almost back to 20%, right? But besides ETH dominance going up, there's a lot of other projects that have held, especially with this last downtrend when Bitcoin was at 23, 24, right? And it fell down 20%. But a lot of these others didn't, and they're the ones that's coming up the most right now, or covering up the most. Not to say that they're anywhere close to their previous all-time high, but it does show you that a lot of people in the space, they really believe in the projects they hold. They're not just all converting back to Bitcoin. They continue to stack their bags of Cardano, Solana, Ethereum, Avalanche, Polygon, you know, the list goes on and on and on. And it does show that, yeah, a lot of people are not nearly as fearful as, say, back in 2018, 2019, when everyone just sold everything. And that's why BTC dominance kept going up to like 60, almost 70%. It's a different world now. Even as low as we are, even though there's still a lot of fear, Bitcoin dominance is below 40%. It's definitely very different. What about Sushi Swap back to 20? Sushi Swap has had a lot of controversy, so I don't know. Sushi Swap does seem like it's more user friendly, and they do have a lot of pairs, but they've suffered through a lot of stuff, a lot of problems with management and direction, and I think even a hacks or one or two, but I don't know if they're going to recover back up. I mean, as for a ETH swap, the biggest one, of course, is still Uniswap, and I don't think Sushi Swaps would come anywhere close to that. First, Utopia, appreciate it. Jonathan, also appreciate it. I think it's time to wrap it up. Looking at the U.S. market, pretty flat. Nasdaq still wants to head green, so that's good. Bitcoin still clinging on, barely green, right, but still heading in the right direction. Overall, crypto is going the right direction, up about 3%, closing at a 1 trillion. That's very positive. So, overall, guys, stay strong, have patience. Better days are coming this week. I don't know. This week will be interesting. There's not too many big economic data, not a big press conference, like I said. So we could have a good recovery week coming off of last week, especially last Friday. So we'll see. We'll see, right? All right. Smash the like, subscribe to the channel. Tune in tonight, 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. And like I promised, the most educational XRP/Ripple video you'll ever see is being played right now. And Hobble's Optimum, I think it's a good L2 project for Ethereum. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.
What do you think about Ripple?
Well, I mean, I think it's too centralized, but I definitely want to meet Chris Larson.